Hi everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tumenes Numadikifa and we are back with another episode. Don't forget to like, to subscribe and show some love by sharing this video. We're back with another episode, and on this episode we'll be talking about walking in self-love. So everything self-love, self-care, self-compassion, self-kindness, and yeah, just to give a background story of where my journey started with self love. So, my husband and I started dating in 2018, and along the way, there was a time where I felt so depleted. I even ended the relationship, and in that time, I was feeling depleted in ways that I could not explain to anyone, and nobody really understood what I was feeling or what my relationship had to do with anything. And it was a typical, it's not you, it's me. And it was definitely me. It was all that I was going through. I remember having a conversation with my friend around that time. I'm like, this is going to be the worst best year of my life. And it was nothing short of that. In that time, God took me through a journey of self discovery. I started reading more, started taking care of myself emotionally, physically, exercising. I started therapy and I just went through a time of learning to love myself. And I remember when my husband and I reconciled, I had a conversation with my sister and I was like, nothing has changed about this man, but so much has changed about me that our relationship has completely transformed, right? And it was completely different because I've learned to love myself, to understand myself, and to embrace myself, right? In the Bible, there's a story where the disciples were having a conversation with Jesus and they asked him which of the commandment was the greatest. And he told them that the greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your mind and with all your soul. And he told them that the second is as important, it is to love your neighbor as yourself. And in that time, I got to understand that the extent in which I was able to love my husband stemmed from my ability to love myself, right? And in that time, there are certain things that I've learned and I still walk by that help me to take care of myself and actually love myself, right? So, the first thing that I'm going to share is I had to learn to own my story. I needed to understand that my journey is different and it's not going to look like anyone's journey, and I should be okay with that. I should be grateful to God for that, right? There's something that I heard a speaker say at the time was that the ability of others to do well does not put me at a deficit, right? And I don't have to drag myself down when I see somebody else living their best life, right? So I need to own my story, to know that my journey is different, to know that my timing is going to be different, to know that some things I may want, but they're not even for me, right? People who love themselves are able to separate how they feel about others from how they feel about themselves, right? The fact that you're looking at somebody else's success does not mean you have to insert yourself into the narrative. I can look at someone doing well and say, congratulations, you've worked so hard for it and you deserve it. And I don't even have to think, where am I compared to where they are, right? So loving myself was to understand that I need to own up my story and I need to be grateful for who I am and for where I am, right? The second thing is to listen to my body cues, right? When I'm in spaces that drain me, in spaces that are not conducive for me, where I'm uncomfortable, I can just remove myself. I need to love myself and actually honor myself to say that this space is not good for me. This space does not feed into me. I am not comfortable here. And it's okay to just get up and leave. I can just say, thank you for inviting me into this space, but I don't feel comfortable. I don't even have to explain. I can just say, thank you for inviting me, but I have to go, right? For example, I am such a positive person that if you put me with negative people, that space would not be conducive for me. That space would literally drain me. So I would always feel like I just need to sit there, just listen. I don't have to absorb what you're saying, or I don't have to say anything. But I found myself being drained, leaving those spaces drained in the name of I'm trying to be polite. And I had to learn that in spaces that are not conducive for me, I can just recuse myself. I can just say thank you. And I had to go, right? The other thing is boundaries, forming and communicating those boundaries. I had to learn that I need to have my boundaries, and it's actually okay, and I need to communicate it, because sometimes people just do certain things because they're used to it and they don't even know that this is a boundary of yours, and they keep violating it. And it's important for me to actually speak up in those spaces that, you know what, I'm not okay with that. And I find that this is something that most of us don't do, especially in family or in friendships where somebody just is violating your boundaries. You'd rather break the friendship or just take a personal space from certain family members, or just cut them off completely because they keep violating a boundary that you have not communicated, right? And you can easily just say, you know, I don't like what you're doing, and oh, I'm not comfortable with that. Please don't do that around me, and all of that. You know, with me, people know, oh, we can't do certain things in front of her, we can't say certain things. She's not okay with that. And they say it sarcastically, and I learned to be okay with that, that at least they know my boundaries. They know that here we don't do that. Here we don't say that. When we're with this person, we need to respect her, right? So the other thing I learned that self-love has to also do with how I speak to myself, self-talk, right? And being a perfectionist, this is it's always been very hard for me, and it's still something that I'm learning, because there's this perfect standards that I set up for myself, and I end up being too hard on myself when I don't meet those standards, and the way that I talk to myself end up not being so kind. So I had to learn that I need to separate certain behaviors, certain mistakes, certain things from who I am, right? There's certain things that I would do that do not, that are out of character, do not reflect the person that I am, and I don't have to be hard on myself, right? And it also helps when it comes to other people, that, you know, you can address people for the things that they do, not for who they are, right? Yes, people should be allowed to make mistakes. I should allow myself to make mistakes, and I will intend allow people to make mistake. I need to be self-compassion, to have self-compassion, to have kindness for myself, and to embrace the fact that I am not perfect, right? And the fact that I'm not perfect, my imperfections are not inadequacies, right? They're just something that says that I am human, and I need to be okay with that, right? I don't have to have it all figured out. I can figure it out and make mistakes as I go, right? The other thing is that I need to learn to receive compliments and criticism, right? You know, I've always been someone that felt like I needed to defend myself because I felt so misunderstood at times, right? And I learned that the more I discover myself and I fall in love with myself, I mean, I fall in love with the imperfect part of me. And with that, I had to learn that it's okay to be misunderstood, right? So I don't have to defend myself. When I'm getting a criticism, I can just receive it. And you can tell, I mean, a criticism from someone that loves you, I can always receive it and I can think on it, or I can ask them to elaborate further so that I can easily digest it in my private space. But from someone that I know is being vindictive or something, I can just say, "Oh, thanks for the Thank you for that. I'll think on it. And I don't have to defend myself. I don't have to try and explain it. Even with compliments, I had this thing of thinking that I have to validate certain compliments. Like it makes me seem more humble or something. But I had to learn that to a compliment, you just say thank you because I love myself. And I mean, if somebody says you're beautiful, thank you. I don't have to say, yeah, when I know I have installed new hair and all of that to try and validate the compliment. No, I can just receive it with grace, and it's a way of loving myself and embracing parts of me that are beautiful, parts of me that are not so perfect. I mean, with criticism, right? The last thing that I'm gonna share that I learned was that I don't have to do anything I don't have the capacity of doing, right? Growing up, I've always learned that there is the right thing to do, there is the Christian thing to do, there is the thing that you are supposed to do. And with that, growing up, you end up overcommitting yourself to things that you don't have the capacity of doing, or trying to show up in spaces that you cannot show up because of where you are in your life, right? I had to learn that it's okay that I cannot show up here. It's okay that I cannot do this for you. I needed to learn that I don't have to do anything that I don't have the capacity of doing, right? I don't have to sell myself out in trying to be what I feel like I need to be in that instant, or what people feel like I need to be doing in that instance, right? I can just show up as my true self. And if I have to give an explanation that, you know what, I am not able to show up for you here because of this or that, I don't even have to explain. But okay, I think it also helped me to learn to actually know people's heart, that yes, this person, I know that this person loves me, but if they are not showing up in this way, it's because they don't have the capacity to show up. So it comes back to the fact that me learning to love myself and to take care of myself and to have compassion on myself now helps me to have compassion on others, to have grace for others, to say in instances that they cannot show up for me, they don't have to, because they don't have the capacity to do it, right? So yeah, just this these are just the small things that I've learned in that time that I feel like continuously help me to walk in a journey of self-love and self-care, to take care of myself, and to know that taking care of myself first is not selfish. That's the best way that I show up for my family. I cannot show up for my family when I'm empty, because I get frustrated by my child, I get frustrated by my husband. But when I show up for myself and I fill my own cup first, then I'm able to love them best. I know I am able to show up for them. Right. I hope that you guys are gonna enjoy this episode, that you've enjoyed it. And until the next one, love, peace, and grace. Bye.